Thank you very much. Thank you. Hello. Hi. What's your name? How y'all doing? Oh, thank you. What a relief. I thought for a second that you hadn't elected a leader. Anarchy. I'm fine, thank you. What's your name, leader? Abby. Ah. Like a little church. Generous like a church. Thanks for asking. I'm fine. Good. I'm Tim, for those of you who just sort of popped down taking a punt on a small newspaper advertisement or something. I'll just give you a bit of background. I'm a person. I grew up, born and bred in Perth, Western Australia. Thank you. I did next to nothing to earn that privilege, but thanks anyway. I now live in London, in the United Kingdom, which is great. Perth. As you guys from Perth? Yeah, oh, right. Well, as you know, it's quite a quiet place. Those of you who visit, it's quite a small place. London's very busy. It's got a real sense of excitement. I mean, I love Perth, but London's got this sort of sense of urban danger, which is very seductive. You know, where I live in the north, like, for example, an ambulance seems to go past my house with its sirens blaring, like once every 3 minutes. It seems to be a statistically improbable number of North Londoners requiring urgent medical attention at any given time, and you can't help but feel excited because odds are you can't help but feel one of these days one of those ambulances is going to come for you. And it's different over there. Even the ambulances, for example, every time they go past my house, I notice they have the writing's green, for one. That's weird. And it says on the side in big letters, emergency ambulance. It's just like, surely the adjective is kind of implied by the noun. But then I figured it was probably just to distinguish them from our ones over here. They're just normal ambulances, you know, a little bit more laid back. They don't really emerge. They just kind of ambulate. Hang out in parks. Like massively over-equipped Mr. Whippy vans. Everything's more complicated. They're taxis. You know, in Australia, you just have taxis. You just ring one and you get in it and you go somewhere. They've got all different types of taxis. The main one, of course, the famous black cab, you know, the English cab, and they're, you know, proper, and they've got proper English cabbies. And then there's got this whole other set of taxis called mini cabs. You guys heard of mini cabs? You've been to London a bit? And, well, they just look like normal cars, but they have a special sticker and the driver has a special license and he's allowed to act as a taxi. And then there's this whole other group of public transport vehicles that I hadn't heard about when I moved there, and they're called illegal minicabs. And they're just dudes in cars, and they're only cab drivers in the same sense that my mate Pete is a pharmacist. And as the name suggests, they are illegal. And they're a bit of a sort of scary thing in London. I'd never heard of them. But when I first got there, I was staying near Old Street Station, which is on the northern, those Londoners, you know Old Street. I was staying on New North Road, just near Old Street. And I was walking down New North Road when I first got there, towards Old Street. And I came across a bus stop with a bus stop advertisement, you know, sort of 6 foot high. And it said, if you want to know how much an illegal minicab could cost you. You seen these? Ask a rape victim. That's how I felt shocked. I was like, well, look, I get the point you're trying to get across. I mean, it's very important, but in the middle of the street, a child could read. I just thought that's not necessary, that sort of thing. But I sure learnt my lesson. Because a couple of nights later, after I saw this sign, I was in Soho having a drink with some friends. And I went to the bar, and I met a girl, you understand, what are you getting, that sort of meeting. And I got talking to this girl. She's a really great girl. We got chatting, and we talked all night, but we got pretty drunk. And eventually it got sort of heavy, the conversation, and she disclosed to me that she had been the victim of a sexual assault. So I asked her how much an illegal minicab would cost from Soho to New North Road near Old Street. where I was staying. And I'll never forget what she said. She said, about £8.50. I mean, it was closer to 9, but I'm surprised the system works at all. But apart from the sort of ambulances and the dangerous public transport, London is great. It's definitely the place for me because, to be honest, I'm trying to get famous, and you know, celebrities belong in London. I think it's a great place for them to bring up the kids they've bought off poor people who live in less great places. And I'm not doing great, but I have met some famous people. I've got to tell you about this gig because it was really exciting. I did a charity gig and I had to go on stage after Mariah Carey. I came straight after her and played Inflatable You. It wasn't deliberate, but it sure resonated with a poignancy that it hadn't before. I was really nervous, as you can imagine. I mean, I was standing backstage watching this woman, one of the greatest pop voices of all time, just tearing it to shreds on stage in this tiny little dress going, and I was just thinking, well, how can I go on after that? You know, that's amazing. And this backstage dude came up to me and said, she's lip syncing. Oh, I thought, what a jip, you know. Suddenly the magic that is Mariah Carey kind of disappeared, and it felt like I was watching a sort of cheap drag show, but without the intrigue of transvesticism. To my knowledge. And also I thought, sure, Mariah, you're a professional, you have your reasons. Lip sync if you want to, but if you're going to lip sync, why would you do a Mariah Carey song?